morning. This morning is October the 21st, and Tuesday morning, Lois and I are milking together here again this morning. It's been a while since we did any introduction or said who we were and where we're at. Yeah, we're Arlen and Lois Heggie. We've been married about 33 years here in a couple weeks. And we have 3 children. They're all involved in the farming operation at this point. We farm in south central PA, milk approximately 290, 300 cows. But yeah, it's been a really busy summer and fall for us. We had a dry spring, early spring, and then it got wet in May, June, and July. And then it got dry in August and September again, but overall our crops did tremendously well. I'll try to do an update sometime here in a couple weeks of what all we got. Yeah, total for the year of different things. But yeah, we enjoy farming, we enjoy milking together. It's our home farm where I was born and raised. It's where I've lived all my life. Yeah, and with our 3 children, our 2 sons and a daughter. So our 2 sons are married, so we have 2 daughter-in-laws. We have 1 grandchild. He's a little over a year old. Never dreamed grandchildren could be so much fun, but it's been a privilege to have a grandchild. Yeah, our cows are doing well. We had switched to a different bedding there in our free stalls, and we just weren't quite happy with what we were using. About 9 months to a year ago, they started the sawmill we were getting it out of. It used to be more just all dust or powdery dust, and then they switched and started mixing some other stuff in with it, kind of some ground up board of some sort. So it had a little more stuff, like it wasn't all dust anymore, I guess is the best way to explain it. We were having this past summer, with it being wet like it was, we were having a fair amount of trouble with a little higher somatic cell count than we like. And yeah, I think everybody was having trouble with that, so it wasn't just us. So we were kind of playing it out a little bit, didn't change anything too much, but yeah, going into the fall here, we decided to try a different kind of sawdust. And yeah, it's amazing. The cows are coming in. We just started using it about 5-6 days ago, but the stalls are staying way nicer and the cows are coming in way cleaner. And not that they were very dirty or anything before as such, where you didn't really think about it. But so it'll be interesting to see how our somatic cell count does, how it plays out with that. But anyway, we'll see what happens here, and if we need to try a different kind, we will, or go back to what we were using if we have to. Past probably 2 years now, we've been getting a little bit of gypsum mixed in with our sawdust bedding, and that's supposed to help cut down on its ground up drywall, basically leftover coming out of the plant where they make drywall, I think. And it's supposed to help with keeping the pH lower and yeah, help keeping bacteria from growing. And I think it does, but the sawdust we were mixing it with before, it was terrible dusty. When we fed the freestall bars, just like a whole cloud of dust was in there. And so there wasn't any cows in at that point, because we take all of our cows out at one time to bring them down to milk. But anyway, with this, it's not near as dusty, but it's staying in the stalls better and the cows are staying a lot cleaner. Here's a heifer we had fresh on Sunday. We left her out yesterday morning, and she came in. She's completely has no milk in her 1/4, and her 1 teat's like hardly anything there. So I don't know if she was born that way or if she had an injury as a heifer somewhere or what happened, but yeah, it's almost like there's hardly any teat there at all. So the rest of her teats are about like normal size, and she looks like she ought to still milk okay. Yeah, she's kind of fairly calm and letting her milk down good, so we'll see what happens with her. We're here feeding the cows on Thursday morning. They're about 3/4 done milking probably. A bunch of them are laying down back here, and the rest of them are coming up to eat. I always enjoy running the feed out and watching them come over to eat. As you can see, our mixer has a 2-speed gearbox on it, so we always finish mixing it in low speed, and then we'll start running it out in low, and when we're halfway down through the barn, we get out and put it up on the high to finish running the rest out. But yeah, if you look down through there, the other half of the barn, there's no cows down there. But if you look up here, as soon as you start running feed out, they all start coming to get their feed. I get to the end, there'll be several more fouling over to eat. Yeah, you can see a few starting to get up to come over to eat, the ones that are laying down. But if you come back in 10-15 minutes, there'll be a solid row the whole way down through here. I just got down and finished running it all out here at the end, and if you go down to that other end, the first half's about solid filled now, and then down through here there's still a bunch of empty spaces. But like I said, if you come back here in 10-15 minutes, it'll just be one solid row of cows. And yeah, it's always neat watching the cows lay down over here. That's when you know they're comfortable, when they're all laying down and chewing their cuds. And of the whole freestall barn here, looking down through, there's, let me see, 1, 2, 3 cows that are standing in the stalls that aren't laying down. The rest of them are either laying down or else they came over to eat. Some of the cows, when they lay down, let their tails lay out in the alley, and then their switches on the end of their tail, the switches on the end of the tail get kind of damp, and yeah, it's not too bad. There's usually a little bit of sawdust or something laying right there at the back of the alley if it's got kicked out of the stalls, but every now and then you get one that's got an old wet tail. Then you got other ones that keep their tail, like that one keeps hers laying up on the top, and there's a one right over there. Some of them actually somehow hold their tail, and they half lay on the tail's half in under them. Yeah. Like right there you can see 3 cows that got their tails all kind of tucked up under them. And their tails stay nice and clean on the end when they do that. You have certain cows that come in every milk and their tails just kind of more wet on the end, and yeah, it's not as nice milking them, but that's the way it is. Earlier one time I think I had mentioned about having a lot of cows to calve here at the end of October into November, and yeah, we've had a bunch fresh this week. There's probably 25 or 28 in here. We brought a few more over this morning. So yeah, they're probably between now and the end of October, between cows and heifers, we'll probably have at least 50 fresh that'll have their calves. Today's gonna be a busy day. They're coming to chop that late corn where we took the wheat off, and or planted after we took wheat off. And we're also finishing up some corn fodder. We baled a bunch here the last several days. We were so busy, some of them days didn't get a whole lot of video of that, but I think we're up to just a little over 500 bales baled dry now. And we have a little more for today, hoping to get another 60 to 80. Yeah, we won't quite have 600, but it's gonna be getting pretty close. We're gonna try something we never did before and chop some dry fodder. Yeah, my chopper custom guy said he was willing to do that or try it, so we'll see once what happens. We want to try to use that in our dry cow free stalls and our calf pens, our small calf pens. Yeah, I've always said I'm willing to try something once. If it's a failure and it don't work, we won't ever do it again. But we have a lot of extra fodder this year, and I think it should work out there in the dry cow free stalls. We'll probably kind of mix that with sawdust a little bit, or bed them one time with that and one time with sawdust or something. We'll see how it goes, unless it works better than we think, and we just bed them with that too. So Anyway, we'll try to get some video today and see what all happens. This week's been kind of iffy off and on. We really haven't had much rain, but a bunch of days were cloudy and cold and windy, and yeah, it just wasn't real good drying days. Yesterday was probably the better drying day of any of the days we had yet. Now today it's supposed to clear out and get pretty breezy again. So hopefully it'll all be a good drying day.
I don't want to torch that.
No, I wouldn't either. They might. I know they probably can't rebuild them on the tractor.
I don't think so.
You're gonna have to tell me what you're fixing because I have no clue.
These steering cylinders are leaking oil and we're wanting to get them rebuilt. So yeah, we're trying to get them off, but the pin at the one end is tight and we're trying to figure out why. But yeah, we're not sure what we're going to do here yet. But anyhow, they've been leaking a little bit of oil and it's getting worse and worse, and this tractor's got over 10,000 hours on it, so it's given that it's going to have some issues somewhere.
And the only thing I got is a torch, so maybe you have something different.
Yeah, we can check them.
Okay, I got two of them out. Like the outside one, they came out pretty easy, but the inside ones on the axle. Yeah, but we'll bring it up here in a bit.
Okay. We're going to plan B. Two of the pins on them cylinders are really tight. Yeah, the local repair shop is going to fix it. It's just right up the road, less than a mile. So we're going to unhook the mixer and just take the tractor up to them, and hopefully they'll have something they can do to get the pins out. But anyway, we very rarely ever unhook this tractor from the mixer. Once in a great while we use this tractor for something other than feeding, but very rarely. This spring, the one time we had some hay we were doing, and forget what the whole story was. I don't remember. We were doing all kinds of stuff that day, so we unhooked this to pull hay wagons with it. But probably 99% of the hours on this tractor since we've had it's been on the mixer.
It's just a gorgeous day out here today. The sky is so pretty. The sunrise, you look both ways, and yeah, it was a lot prettier earlier, but it's still, the sky is really pretty. We've had some really pretty sunrises this year, even sunsets. They've been really pretty.
I was saying this morning about everything we had to do, and I forgot the part that we're wanting to plant a bunch of cover crop yet today and tomorrow too. We got about another 110 acres of cover crop to plant, and some of it's where we're taking that late corn off. So yeah, my son's gonna get started on that this morning, and then we'll stop after a while to round bale this fodder that we have to round bale, and trying to get this all finished up. We're talking about some showers of rain next week. That's kind of iffy there a couple days. They were talking about Sunday into Monday. Now they kind of backed off on that a little bit, but so we'll see. The drill filled with seed. He's going to go start that one field where we baled the corn fodder yesterday and got the bales all hauled off. We're doing this ag bag of corn silage off of our late corn that we planted after wheat. It's 24th of October here, and yeah, this will be the last of our corn silage for this year. Actually has a lot of grain in it. I wasn't sure what it would look like, but yeah, looks pretty good. We ended up filling up 3 ag bags this year. Then we're going to put a small one up with some corn fodder in it. but we did two of corn silage and one of snap leach. And yeah, this is the second one of corn silage here. But anyway, it's amazing how these machines work. They're splitting the field and coming up through the middle of the field here. This stuff's turning off more than what I thought it might. Yeah, we're obviously not anywhere near done, but it's actually really decent corn. Got a lot of grain on it. The ears are, once you get into the middle of the field here, the ears are a lot bigger than what we thought. And so yeah, I'm not sure what we'll end up with, but it's looking like it's gonna really turn off some stuff. Over there along that one ridge behind that bank barn over there, it's not real great, which it's kind of a rocky ridge. There used to be a rock break there that was taken out years ago. But yeah, most of the rest of the field is tremendous corn. I was thinking I'd have to ask my son here for sure, but if I remember right, we planted this way thicker than we do most of our corn, being it was later like this. I'm thinking we planted it maybe 38 or 40,000 population, and yeah, that's probably helping to add up a lot more too. But if it wouldn't have got frosted, it would probably be it would definitely be too green. But since it got frosted, the moisture seems to be about right. Here sure has been a blessing. Everything we did this year turned off more than what we thought it might. And we had that late corn we planted after wheat we were chopping today, or that we chopped today. And we thought we put a 200-foot bag on. Didn't have a whole lot more room. Might have could have went another 15, 20 feet down there. Thought it would about all go in there. Well, they had about 7 or 8 loads. We put in another bag. So yeah, it sure was a blessing. Yeah, it turned off really good, and looks like it ought to be pretty decent feed. There's a lot of corn showing in it. So have a lot to be thankful for. I always say I'm willing to try anything once. I don't know if we're crazy or not, but I guess we might be. But mentioned there about chopping some of this corn fodder dry. We're going to put some, we got an 8-foot bagger here. It's a tractor bagger. We're gonna fill an 8x200 and put some on a pile over here in the one shed. And we're gonna try to use it, maybe I did mention that, we're gonna try to use it in our dry cow free stalls. And maybe even try a little bit in our calf pens. So yeah, we'll see once what happens and what it's like and what it does, and go from there. I'm hoping it's chopped up pretty fine. The first load's coming in. We're getting ready to start unloading it, so we'll see. Yeah, it looks pretty nice. Nice and dry, and it's chopping her up pretty good. Well, we got the first load in. Probably put close 20 feet in the bag if you figure what's there in the tunnel. But she said a 200-foot bag would probably hold about 9 of their wagons, carts. Hey, here's our first load we dumped on a pile here. We're gonna shove back in the shed here. This fodder are the guys that we get to do our combining for our dry corn. They have a cutter on the bottom of their head. It basically looks like the blades on a bush hog mower, rotary bush hog mower. Only they're smaller. I'm not sure how long they are. So Yeah, basically cuts the stalks off, well, however low they carry the head. They were holding it probably 8-10 inches on average, probably a foot some places. And then we merged it with a merger, so we shouldn't hardly have any dirt in it. We didn't rake it or anything. And so yeah, it should make really nice stuff. But like I said, we'll try it and see what we think of it. We don't have near this much corn to combine every year, so we probably won't be able to do this every year, but we'll try it this year and save some money on buying sawdust or something. I was hoping they would be able to get their trucks in under there and unload them. Then we just push them on in a little bit, but the truck fit in, but they only had about a foot clearance, and we probably needed 2 feet to open the tailgate. Really dusty because it's dry, but yeah, we're having a little bit of trouble with it feeding into the head, but overall it's going pretty good. On the 8th load, that's the 7th one that just left. When we get this chopped today, we are totally done chopping for the year. Yeah, my son went over to plant some more cover crop in the field where we chopped that corn this morning. It's 24th of October. Yeah. We've had everything planted that we're planning to chop for 4-H probably 2 weeks ago maybe. And what we're planting now is just a cover crop. So, yep, should be all right. He'll probably have about 40-50 acres yet to plant tomorrow. And then we'll be done with the cover crop as well. So, this is the next morning here, Saturday morning. Yeah. We had a really busy day yesterday there on Friday, but we got everything done. Yeah, I think we planted, or my son planted, probably about 80 acres of cover crop, 70-80 acres. We baled the last of our corn fodder, and then we chopped this corn fodder, and here's what we pushed into the shed here. It's a pretty good sized pile. I think there's 5 load we put in here. Then we put 8 load in that ag bag. Try to keep you posted how this stuff works. We're finishing a few things up here this morning, putting some corn fodder round bales away. Wasn't able to get a lot of video of doing corn fodder this fall, at least the round bales. We were so crazy busy most of them days, and it was go, hammer down, get it done. And yeah, it was just crazy. And between getting it baled and getting them hauled in, getting them put away. But we did these here about a week ago. We put this stack in. There's about 110 bale in this stack. There's some hay in the hay shed, but then we got one more load out here that I need to put in the shed that we didn't get put in last night. And they're back in. There's some straw bales over here, about 50 square or round bales of straw. Yeah, the rest of the fodder are back in here. I think till I get this load unloaded, there's going to be over 200 bale over on this side. So total for the year, I think we did somewhere around 580 round bales for bedding. and 120 that we baled for there earlier that were wet and wrapped them for feed. So we would have baled rated 700 bales of corn fodder this year. So yep, and this is the last load. So once we get it unloaded and get it stuck in the shed, we're done with corn fodder. And then yeah, we did chop 13 truckloads of fodder, like I'd mentioned about there earlier. So anyway, it's been a good year. So we have more silage this year than I think we've ever put up, and it's a good thing, and we're very thankful for that. Probably about the only thing we're going to be a little short on this year is some calf hay. Yeah, here's all the extent of the calf hay we got. Probably maybe 30 bales there. I don't even know if it's that, 25 maybe. So that'll get us through a couple months here yet. But other than that, we should have plenty of feed for everybody else and bedding. My son Willie's planting our last cover crop for the season. There's a couple acres back here where the soybeans were green earlier, and yeah, we got them combined here today, and yeah, so he's getting it finished up. When he's done with that today, we're totally done. Been a busy fall, so it's good to be done, but yet it is kind of nice doing field work, so we don't want to wish it away too quick.